Broadcast Row for the now generation. And now a special presentation from Broadcast Row. Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world. Wake up. It's time, people, for your morning online gathering. Hosted by Mardel. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. And it starts now.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show. This is your host, Mardel. The number is 844-627-3352. Follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. Any information you need is on the WrestlingMorningShow.com. Thank you for joining us on this September 12th, 2017 edition as we're going to kick off talking about Monday Night Raw. Now, last night, they pulled out all the stops. Of course they did. They're going up against Monday Night Football, the return of football, and it was evident enough because Twitter was not as buzzing as it normally is, especially over the summertime, now heading into fall. We kick off the show last night. Roman Reigns, Jason Jordan. We knew this match was going to take place. It was announced earlier in the day. Pretty good match. Very good match. It was the first match we finally see of all these people who think that maybe Jason Jordan is getting this push that's undeserved. The man could wrestle. We've noticed that now for the last couple of weeks. Roman Reigns, Jason Jordan. Last week, John Cena, Jason Jordan. He puts his hand out to shake Roman's hand. Nothing. Roman kind of waves him off. Jordan's like, okay, fine. But Jordan looked very strong. There were a lot of near falls, but finally the arsenal of offense by Roman Reigns, a spear, then a pin, and it's over. Roman Reigns goes over. But now John Cena's about to come out. We noticed John Cena's backstage watching this match, and he finally comes out. And right now, if you're keeping score at home, if you're listening to us, hopefully maybe on your drive to work, going to school, just waking up, just getting in, wherever you're at, you guys remember now, if you're keeping track, John Cena's 2-0. This is now the third time they face off inside the ring. Let's go back and refresh your memory from last night on Monday Night Raw. Cena in the ring, brings that extra microphone.
Now, Roman, this is not a nightstick for your tactical pants. This is a microphone. And I'm really excited to hear what you're going to say. Because to bring you up to speed, last week, Roman Reigns came out really upset that a rookie, Jason Jordan, almost defeated me. And here we are, right here, right now, when the rookie, Jason Jordan, almost beat the guy. So, I think you got some explaining to do. And here's a tip, just keep it to like one sentence and maybe say something like, 'cause it's my yard, believe that.
Actually, I was out here, John, having a great match. Something you know nothing about. Actually, now that I think of it, I've had more great matches in 2 years than you have in your whole career. What you got to say about that, John?
I love it. I absolutely love it, dude. You make this easy for me. Usually I got to come out here and stay sharp. All I gotta do is come out here and let you talk. You guys can't pin this one on me. Roman's burying himself.
Ouch.
It's not to say that you're not good. You have skill and ability that any one of us would dream of having. You just got your head so far up your ass, you're like a one-man human centipede. And why would you not be? You actually think that you run this place. You actually think you're responsible for all of this. Because nobody has ever cut you down to size. That's why I am here, Roman. You see, you said a few weeks ago that that I can spin anything. Well, John Cena can spin anything. No, it's not that I can spin anything. It's I challenge myself every day to try everything. And you feel as if you've already made it. And in this ring and in anywhere else in life, the second you think you made it is the beginning of the end. So, you are gonna learn what real failure is all about, Roman Reigns. Because week after week after week, I come out here to give you a shot, taking your ass to school, and you fail, and fail, and fail. And that is not what the guy does. The guy steps up. The guy stays sharp. The guy does his homework, which is something you should have done before you drug your sorry ass out here. If you really are the guy, Roman Reigns, then you will dust yourself off. You will stand up, and at No Mercy, you'll show me something. Looking at you now, you ain't got it in your homes. No Mercy's gonna be a cakewalk.
Where you going, John? No. Bring your bitch ass back here. The weird thing is, y'all, usually another superstar comes out here and calls John Cena out. That way they can make a name for themselves, but you came here. You came to Monday Night Raw and you called me out, and I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because I'm selling the tickets that you haven't sold in 5 years. That's the thing, man. Like, you say I'm not doing my job, but ticket sales are great. Revenue is sky high. WWE can make it without you. That's why you don't like me. WWE don't need you, John. You need WWE. And the fact of it is, you need WWE because, well, hell, he can't break into Hollywood, y'all. I'm serious, man. If you need help, I know a guy. So please spin it, do whatever you do your big talk, say whatever it is you want to say, because it's gonna mean nothing, because you can't back it up.
You know, sometimes when people push you over the line, you gotta fight fire with fire. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna put it in terms that even you can understand. At No Mercy, consider me like a drug test, Holmes. You ain't getting past me.
Well, the heat is on as we head to Los Angeles in 2 weeks for No Mercy, Cena and Reigns. I cannot wait.
Wow, that was unbelievable. That is now the third round between Cena and Roman. If you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Wrestling Morning Show. It's about 15 past the hour almost. The number is 844-627-3352. I am your host, Mardel. So that's how Raw opened last night. The much anticipated round number 3 between Cena and Roman. Now, going into No Mercy, everybody was talking about Brock. Everybody was talking about Braun and how these two worlds are going to collide. We see them later on in the program. But now I'm captivated by this match between Cena and Roman. We never thought it would be this good. And I've said it on the show many times. Why wait for WrestleMania? Why wait? Let's do it now. You never know what's going to happen. And somehow, some way, WrestleMania always plays itself out, and we always get top matches. But why not now? One thing I have to applaud, John Cena is bringing out the very best of Roman Reigns. I've said this before on the show many times. Roman cuts the best heel promos. He's not a heel. He's not a heel. But he cuts the best heel promos. Now he's going toe-to-toe with arguably one of the very best of all time. Certainly one of the very best of all time on that microphone. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, we're talking about some of the best work Roman has done. That's true. That's absolutely true. It's only going to get better. They got one more week to push us, and then we have No Mercy. I'm still a firm believer, and I'm not making this into a situation where this is on wax or set in stone. I think it's going to be a great match. I think someone's coming out. Someone's going to diffuse this scenario so we could recycle it, so they won't say anybody was declared a winner or a loser. So nonetheless, a great opening to Monday Night Raw. Great to see Roman. Great to see John Cena. It was the third time they've battled inside the ring. The number is 844-627-3352. That is the call line. It's also the text line. So if you don't feel like calling in, that's fine. Shoot me a text, join the conversation. And of course, we're on Twitter at Live Morning Show. You could stream live on Twitter, stream live on Facebook, or go to the website, thewrestlingmorningshow.com, and we have all information for you. Now, as soon as the show goes off the air, this becomes into on-demand podcast form, iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. So the other storyline that's going into No Mercy, of course, it's what originated the big build for this pay-per-view. I think it's taken the back seat, of course, to Roman and Cena. But we're talking about Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. We have two major WrestleMania-type matches in this pay-per-view. Now it's time for Paul Heyman to come out with Brock Lesnar. This Anaheim crowd was pretty good. I must give it to them. There's times they fell flat, but for the most part, it's always a tough day last night on 9/11 to really kind of be in the best of spirits, but they did the best they can. And this is what WWE provides, just great entertainment during some tough times. Let's go now and listen to Paulie Heyman. Now, Brock got an unbelievable reception when his music hit, by the way. He's actually all smiles right now in the ring, right before Paulie talks. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed, Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar! My job this evening is to sell you on something that, in my opinion, has already been sold. On Sunday night, September 24th, 2017, at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, at a pay-per-view known as No Mercy, my client, Brock Lesnar, will defend this Universal Championship against the single most worthy challenger to the championship in ages, Braun Strowman. Now, from what I understand, for the first time in a one-on-one situation since Brock Lesnar fought The Undertaker at WrestleMania, the odds are against Brock Lesnar. And let's look at the reasons why. Number one, Braun Strowman at SummerSlam put Brock Lesnar with a power slam, a vicious power slam through not one, but two separate announce tables, and then dumped a third announce table on top of Brock Lesnar. Braun Strowman, the very next night on Monday Night Raw, laid waste to your Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. We are looking at an unprecedented circumstance where the champion, Brock Lesnar, is facing an individual that is bigger than Brock Lesnar, that is more powerful than Brock Lesnar. But here's my question. Are you better than the baddest dude on the planet? Because you're gonna have to be all three. Bigger, stronger, and better than Brock Lesnar, because you can't just win the title from Brock Lesnar. You have to rip this championship away from the beast, away from the conqueror. You will have to take what belongs to Brock Lesnar at No Mercy. And you know who this reminds me of? It reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, of Brock Lesnar in 2002. When the next big thing asserted his declarative mantra that stated eat, sleep, conquer, repeat by beating, victimizing, and conquering, oh, I don't know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the immortal Hulk Hogan, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Mr. ECW Rob Van Dam, and The Undertaker himself. And now tonight, Braun Strowman's gonna come out here and he's gonna try to beat, victimize, and conquer John Cena. So, as Corey Graves would ask, Braun Strowman, are you going to monster handle John Cena? Are you that bad? Because if you are, that brings me back to my original premise. Are you better than the baddest dude on the planet? Does monster slay beast? Because Braun Strowman, are you ready to cross the border from the safety of sports entertainment into the hostile ground known as Suplex City? And not to ruin the box office appeal of Sunday night, September 24th at the Staples Center in LA on a pay-per-view known as No Mercy. But when they used to lock my client in the Broctagon, they would look him in the eyes and say, "Fighter, are you ready?" So, fighter, are you ready? Because Braun Strowman, I know you're back there. I know you're looking for your excuse to come down this aisle and fight Brock Lesnar. You're not running away like any mere mortal. No, you're waiting for your excuse to step up and fight Brock Lesnar. So, here's your excuse. Fighter, are you ready? Fighter ready? Fighter ready? Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, fight!
Well, Brock looks ready. Oh, and I guess Braun Strowman is too.
And yeah, it finally happens. Braun comes out, place explodes. They had a great time with this. Now, obviously, Braun comes out. We don't know what direction they're going to go in. And absolutely, Brock Lesnar gets manhandled by Braun Strowman. It was that bad. Now, usually the indications that throughout time, if you think about it, anybody who gets the upper hand, usually on a go-home show or 2 weeks out, ends up losing in this match. But I would not be surprised. All eyes are going to be on Los Angeles for the 24th. They may have Brock come in next week, as they should. I mean, we already have people talking about Cena and Roman, and they also have Brock and Braun, which is the headliner. So, obviously, Brock needs to be there next week, especially in these trying times of the fall. Summer, not the most highly anticipated season of wrestling, and they did a phenomenal job on both brands. But Braun just completely destroys Brock Lesnar, making him look human. That is the appeal of this entire match. Brock looks human. And having said that, if there's anybody who could take down the monster among men, this would be Brock Lesnar. So there are a lot of angles, a lot of side stories to this match. Two guys that really don't talk on the microphone. They let all their talking be done inside that ring. I'm not making this official on my own personal decision, but I think it is time for Braun to wear that title. Bring it back full time to Monday Night Raw. But having said that, Brock, for a guy that we used to get just once in a while, it was special. He's appeared more in the last 6 months on Monday Night Raw than we've ever seen him. But this is going to be special. We've seen Brock and Braun tussle inside the ring. Clearly not even a match. We saw suplex by Brock last night on Braun, and Braun gets right back up. Entire place explodes because they've never seen anybody come up from a suplex like that. So we continue on. Let's go back to the second match. It's Sasha versus Emma. Really no excitement whatsoever. We saw Alexa Bliss come out. She's on commentary. And the match goes on. Then Nia Jax comes out. She is added on commentary. For a second there, we thought Emma had a pretty good chance, but Sasha lands the bank statement, and she goes over to that match. Now, at the top of the hour, we already listened to Brock and Paul. Then we see Goldust inside the ring, and Bray comes and shoots on Finn Balor and Goldust. Then Bray has a match against Goldust, hits him with his sister Abigail for the pin, and then Bray starts wiping the makeup. And then Finn comes out to help. Two things I want to point out. One, Bray's promo, which he does on the video screen, then he came out. It was different. I liked it. There was a common man appeal to it. Sometimes he could go off on tangents, and we can't follow. Having said that, one thing I didn't mention earlier, Paul did the same thing. Sometimes Bray and Paul, who are very good on the microphone, they will get in a run, and they'd repeat themselves a lot. It's not easy to go out there with fresh material all the time. They're trying to hit certain marks. And what I mean, I don't mean wrestling fan. I mean certain spots in their promos that are very important. Illustrating, trying to push a match, trying to push that rivalry. And they do it very well. So Bray and Paul last night did a very good job. Once again, I think the wiping of Goldust's makeup sent a great message, especially since the entire feud right now is resting upon the real man, who is Finn Balor and not the demon. So I enjoyed that one. So we move on, and then we have a backstage promo with Sheamus and Cesaro. There's a match scheduled, Seth and Dean. They're at commentary. It's going to be Sheamus, Cesaro versus Gallows and Anderson. So this match doesn't even happen. Seth and Dean, they start tussling with Sheamus and Cesaro. Gallows and Anderson come from the ring. They're all fighting. So then it gets announced that Seth and Dean have to find another tag team. They're going to take on Sheamus, Cesaro, Gallows, Anderson. Not really a big surprise what's going to happen next and who that tag team partner is. Then we announce, this is actually very special, Nia and Alexa. Best friends, maybe. Frenemies, maybe. But they're going to wrestle next week. And it's for the title. So Nia versus Alexa next week. I got to love this next segment. Elias is in the ring and he draws heat. Just great heat, natural heat. I've said this many times on the program. This is how you build this heel. And this is what they're doing. It's phenomenal. So I applaud WWE. They're taking their time. They're doing it the right way. And he's gaining a lot of natural heat, which is awesome. Takes on Kalisto. And one of the few times I could say that Elias actually looks really good, very athletic. I really enjoyed watching him inside that ring. Not so much because he's that talented, but we don't see that side of Elias that much. His matches in the past have been very quick. He's either underperformed in several of these matches, or he's going up against some top talent, for example, like Dean and Finn in the past. So I enjoy Elias. And every time he asks the question, who wants to walk with Elias, he's just getting louder and louder. And I cannot wait for him to actually do this in a heel city coming up very soon, because I think he'll get rewarded with this. We're going to take a small break right now. We get back. We're going to talk about Cena and Braun, a very special Miz TV, and of course, the main event that happens on Monday Night Raw. So when we get back, everybody, we're going to take some of your calls. Obviously, it's 844-627-3352. Call or text. It's the same number. We're also going to be talking about what was on Twitter last night, some of your opinions, some of your feedback. We got a lot more show, including the rest of Raw, foreshadowing for SmackDown, and a whole lot more.
Live on Broadcast Row, it's the Wrestling Morning Show.
With Zillow, you're not just looking for a house. You're looking for the pool that will turn your kids' fingers into prunes. The living room where your dad will explain the nuances of football to you. Yet again. The kitchen where you'll alphabetize your spice collection and discover forgotten, furry, what is that, in the back of the fridge.
You're not just looking for a house. You're looking for a place for your life to happen. And whether buying or renting, Zillow makes it easy with smart search features, photos, and more. Zillow, find your way home.
Break-ins. They happen every day. Will you be next? With Simply Safe, you get comprehensive, professionally monitored home security. Each Simply Safe system is thoughtfully assembled, from entry and motion sensors to a high-definition security camera. You'll have everything you need to keep your family safe. CNET called it comprehensive, easy-to-use protection, naming it Editor's Choice for home security. Order now and in a few days be protected 24/7. Click the banner to begin protecting yourself today with Simply Safe.
Now back to the Wrestling Morning Show.
Okay, so we're back, everybody. Almost 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you're enjoying the program. Everybody in the East Coast, good morning. You're probably on your way to work, on the go. Everybody in the Midwest, people in the West Coast just getting up. Some of you guys are on your way to work. You could always listen to the show through the Wrestling Morning Show app. You could download it in iTunes and Google Play. And, of course, when this show goes off the air, give us about an hour. Then it becomes into podcast on-demand form, available in iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. All information you need, go to thewrestlingmorningshow.com. And so now we get to the fifth match of the night. It's John Cena. It's Braun Strowman. We don't know what to expect. One thing we do know for sure, there's no way Cena's beating him. It's the first time we ever see Braun Strowman and John Cena. This was the big headline going in, taking some eyes off of football, putting them on Monday Night Raw. This was a beatdown, a severe beatdown. Now, we saw Braun earlier in the night, and he gave a beatdown to Brock. Maybe he was tired. No, that doesn't happen. He's a monster. Cena had a couple good spots, but nothing could affect Braun Strowman. He did land the AA on Braun after his second attempt. I mean, it looked pretty good, looked pretty promising. We've seen Cena get squashed before from the hands of Brock Lesnar. Braun completely demolished him as well. But it was a disqualification. It was a disqualification because Braun picked up Cena, slammed him on the steel steps, and that was it. So it's a disqualification. This does not go into the record books, of course, as a win or a loss, just a DQ. This is a storyline that could continue the next go around. So now we head into another segment. And really, it was Miz TV. And this kind of took me by surprise after I was kind of like, okay, we really kind of see Enzo Amore and The Miz battle each other. Do we have to see them inside the ring together? I tell you what, they open up Miz TV. Miz has an announcement. Congratulations to Mike Mizanin and Maurice. They're going to have a kid. And a genuine moment between these two inside the ring. The crowd actually gave him some love. And then Enzo crashes the party. But what would take place, we're going to remind you guys as we listen to the audio, courtesy of WWE and Universal. Here we go. Enzo Amore inside the ring. This turns out pretty good. They bring the best out of each other in this promo with Enzo and The Miz.
It's my show, and I announce you when I'm ready.
No. Hey, listen, bro. I told him to hit my music. A, I'm supposed to be out at B. I wanted to come out and celebrate. That was great news. I wanted to celebrate with you and your wife, Maurice. Hey, don't.
Don't you dare how you doing, my wife.
All right, touche. Might have been taken out of context, but nonetheless, you know, sometimes I tend not to think before I speak.
And that's the trouble with you, isn't it? You don't think. When you came from NXT to WWE Monday Night Raw, you and Cass were the next big thing. You would sell out merchandise, pay-per-views with John Cena. Everyone loved Enzo and Cass, but look at you now. Time progresses, and you don't know when to shut your mouth. You don't listen. You think you know everything better than everybody else. That's why you're kicked out of WWE tour buses, and that is why you are kicked out of the WWE locker room. You think you chose? You think you chose to bring your personality to the cruiserweight division? There was nowhere else for you to go because no one on the WWE Monday Night roster can stand you. And that's coming from me. See, I can help you. I've been in your shoes. I've rubbed people the wrong way in WWE when I first started, but unlike you, I regrouped, I rebranded, and I earned respect. You coming out here, Instead of asking for my advice, asking for my help, learning, you interrupt my wife and I, our most sacred moment of my entire life. Not my career, my life. I see so much freaking talent in you, but you make mistake after mistake after mistake, and I am sick of watching it. You go to 205 Live Vision, you think you'll hang with someone like Neville? Neville, who hones his craft in the WWE. His only care in the WWE is to perfect in this WWE ring. All you care about is hanging out with third-rate rappers. That's why you have to cheat, because guys like Neville and guys in the cruiserweight division, they do aerials that leave the WWE universe speechless. When you're on the top rope, you fall flat on your face. And you don't have a 7-foot-tall meal ticket anymore. Yeah, all you got now is nothing more that people can look at you and look at you're nothing more than a con artist with a couple of catchphrases.
So you want to get real? Well, allow me to remind you, I am the realest guy in the room. And as you alluded to, Mikey, me and you have been in similar situations, but you and I have got nothing in common. You made enemies in that locker room because you copied everybody. You copied the likes of Chris Jericho and Ric Flair. Well, maybe this gets annoying, all right? But I'll tell you one thing about this. This and I, we are original. And you ain't, okay? You're a carbon copy of other people. All right, pal? I am going on to No Mercy to become the Cruiserweight Champion after I beat Neville. And you, I got no problem coming back on Raw and beating you, because you ain't nothing but a paper champion.
I'm a paper champion? I'm a paper champion. Chris, do you all think I'm a paper champion? You think you're, you think you're championship material? Huh? Do you think you're championship material? If you were championship material, your best friend wouldn't have abandoned you.
Hey, listen, I might not got a lot of friends, all right? But the only two things I need, I got. To fight you right here, right now!
You have no idea what you're getting into. Understand that I'm gonna show you how to walk, talk, and look and act like a champion. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna dedicate my victory to my unborn child.
I'll apologize to that baby when it's born, okay? But Daniel Bryan was right. There's only one word to describe you, and I'm gonna spell it out for you. F-A-W-F-T.
All right, so there we go. I thought that was some of the best work we've ever heard Enzo give. I mean, normally most of his promos, lately have been against a big Cass, and now obviously Cass is out of the picture, and now he is in the Cruiserweight division. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was real, it was fresh, and there's a lot of fatigue for Enzo out there. But not this time. He's going toe-to-toe with somebody who's very good. That elevates him. He's got to be on his toes. He's going against The Miz. Whatever you want to say about The Miz, you have to realize Mike Mizanin with all his faults and what he's gone through in the last 10 years, he's very good at what he does. We talked about earlier in the program, Roman is elevated by just working with somebody like John Cena. And now it's evident again with Enzo. After I've been slightly critical about Enzo and the fatigue of Enzo, and it's the same old spiel and the same old promo, this was pretty good. I have to give it to Enzo. And I also got to say, thank you to Mike Mizanin, because he's taking Enzo into that spot. So now we move on, and it's Enzo and The Miz, and now they're in a match. It was quick. They were using microphones in and out. He gives the catchphrase, I got one question, who's your daddy? Alluding to when the baby is going to be born. And, of course, the Miz Saraj comes in and they attack him. Disqualification. Enzo wins the match. So I think about Mike Mizanin. I even tweeted this out. Who is he facing at No Mercy? What is going on at No Mercy? Maybe I'm clueless and you're listening now and it was announced, but he had that one-off with Jeff Hardy. We thought maybe Jason Jordan was going to be in the picture. Now we think maybe Enzo, but Enzo already has a match. What is going on? This cannot be the second pay-per-view in a row where the IC title means nothing. This can't be. And we can't regulate The Miz, who is still relatively young, who's going to be around for a while. We cannot regulate him to a kickoff show. He wears the IC strap very well. He does bring it prestige. He is delusional thinking exactly what you're supposed to do. He's making that the most important, prestigious title on any brand. At least that's what he thinks is in his mind. He's doing a great job at it. Those are my thoughts. Now we move on to the seventh and final match. Sheamus, Cesaro, Gallows, Anderson versus Dean, Seth, and the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff. Okay, I expected a lot more out of these guys, and we knew it was exactly how it was going to unfold. I didn't know going in who was going to go over. I did know that it was probably going to be broken up with a commercial, which it was. I figured it was going to be a slow pace where most of the men were going to be outside the ring, hurt, and only one or two were showcased. That happened. Also, what happened and took a long time was Dean was in the ring for the majority of the match. Never able to get that hot tag. And, of course, in true fashion, when you have all these guys, the last 2 to 3 minutes are a combination of unbelievable spots and moments. But mostly the entire match was fluff. But Dean and Seth and the Hardy Boys, they go over. There was also an enormous botch spot with Matt Hardy. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was 1-2 and the ref just stopped. Go back and listen to it. Go back and watch that. It was definitely interesting.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel, live on Broadcast Row.
Okay, so we're back on the program. It is 9:44 Eastern Standard Time. We've covered a lot of Raw thus far. Curious what you guys think about the show. Give me a call. 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. Join the conversation at Live Morning Show. That's where you can find us on Twitter. Facebook, we stream live at The Wrestling Morning Show. Now, you got any information whatsoever that you need to find out, all you have to do is go on thewrestlingmorningshow.com. As soon as the show is over, we are available in podcast form, on demand in iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. It's pretty much everywhere. Coming off the heels of a pretty solid Monday Night Raw. It was showcased, obviously, by Roman and John Cena last night. We got to see a size-up, a measure-up between Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman, and it looked physical, and it looked great. And I'm hoping that Brock could be on Raw next week at least one more time. One more time. That will be the go-home show. Even though, if we kind of think about what's going on this entire summer, usually every pay-per-view they've had this entire summer, and even actually right after Mania, the second to last show has become that go-home show. So maybe that go-home show was last night. And if it was, I'm bought in. I think I've bought in on that, which is great. Couple things to mention to you guys if you're listening to the show right now. And of course, call or text 844-627-3352. Asuka, that was announced. She has signed with Monday Night Raw. As you know, she has a broken right collarbone. She had to give up her title in NXT. Very sad day, I think, for her and NXT fans. But now she gets the call-up, and a much-needed call-up, to Monday Night Raw. Definitely will add some excitement to that women's division. It's led by Alexa Bliss, regardless of what anyone thinks. We also got Bayley on the shelf as well. Gearing up for that women's fatal four-way. This is going to be for the Raw's Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, and Emma. But next week, as we've mentioned, and you guys listened last night, Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss. I'm excited for it. I've loved this angle since day one. I'm curious how this is going to play out. I think there's a great story between these two. I don't know why they're doing this right before the Fatal Four-Way. Because we can easily get the very best heel, Alexa Bliss, if this becomes a storyline after No Mercy. I think Nia Jax is a fantastic character. She represents a lot of women out there who don't look like your typical superstar, which is awesome. And her fan base is growing. It's becoming obvious. But nonetheless, next week, Alexa, Nia Jax. Big show. We believe this is probably a shoot. It's going to have surgery. That was reported. Nikki Bella, congratulations to her. She's going to be on this season's Dancing with the Stars. It's been a big fall for Nikki Bella thus far, including with the debut of Total Bellas. You guys watch Total Bellas? I saw the first episode. It was all right. You know, for me, even when Total Diva started, it was, even though kayfabe, I don't know why we bring that up, but kayfabe has been dead for a long time. This was the first time, obviously, you saw anything of people's true personal life that occurred with Total Divas. It was almost cringeworthy to, like, finally, if there was one element of kayfabe that was still alive, it was completely shattered with Total Divas. That's fine. It was a little awkward, and then, of course, you get used to it. Of course, you still pop to this day. Anytime you might see a wrestler in the storyline, or, sorry, a male wrestler in the storyline, or somebody backstage, or you get some hidden secrets. It's not the worst show. Got a little bit revitalized. I still say Rusev is the best part of this new reincarnation of Total Divas. So that was some of the news that came out in the last couple of days. Obviously, Nikki Bella, excited for her. She hopefully returns to the ring stronger, better than ever after this tour with with Dancing with the Stars. And there's no timetable for Asuka to come back, but she'll be ready for that march up to Rumble, hopefully, and the march after Rumble going towards Mania. I do want to investigate a little bit more on the severity of the Big Show and his surgery. And I'm sure I'll stumble on the fact that it's probably a work of some sorts. Now, No Mercy, literally just a couple days away. It's on the 24th, and we've talked about this. All eyes on the Staples Center. Lesnar Strowman, that's the headline. Everyone's talking about Cena Roman. We still have Dean and Seth versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Emma, Fatal Four-Way. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Neville versus Enzo for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, there's a lot of love for Dean and Seth, of course, and there are a lot of fans out there. I'm a fan of both of them, of course. They were kind of forced together. Okay, cool. Cesaro and Sheamus were forced together. They really had nothing going on. This was actually done by Mick Foley. And Sheamus and Cesaro, I mean, these guys have been in this tag team conversation since they came together. It's been a long time. They've seen a lot of people come and go. Entire summer was dedicated to the Hardys and Cesaro and Sheamus. I mean, they beat that rivalry to death. Neville and Enzo, interesting. I think for shock and all purposes, could Enzo go over? I'm sure. It'd be a shame. Neville has been that standard for the Cruiserweight Championship. His character is the best it's ever been. One thing is very disturbing to me, and I mentioned it a couple times last night on Twitter. What is The Miz going to do? I mean, you can't go into No Mercy now. And we're going to have The Miz without someone chasing the IC title. 2 pay-per-views in a row. 2 pay-per-views in a row. It was almost this enormous backlash, as it should be. And this wasn't really bashing the product like most people bash the product all the time. This was a legitimate concern last time. We have the Intercontinental Champion. Sure, he was with the Mr. Raj. You sure he was going against legends like the Hardy Boys. This was the kickoff match. This wasn't the kickoff match like right before SummerSlam started. This was the kickoff match where we all saw the photos. It was just nobody was there. It was embarrassing. But now with less than 2 weeks away, I mean, Enzo tried to step up to the plate. Last night, was that somebody he was going to face? We had a Jeff Hardy situation where he was taking on, a couple weeks ago, taking on The Miz. Do they possibly revisit that next week? Right now, the WWE Intercontinental Champion has no one to face for No Mercy. It's unfortunate. Only time will tell. They have one more week. And now, even if they got one more week, it's a forced build. They want us to care about it. Where does it fall in line on the card? There are 6 matches already confirmed. And I think in this scenario at No Mercy, they'll have obviously one major kickoff match. And they're going to add at least another one into the series. At least going with 7 solid matches. And then, of course, they may have some cooler scenarios. And when I mean cooler, I'm not talking hip. I'm talking to cool down the crowd. There's no reason why Elias should not be one of those people that cools down in between the matches. Draw some good heat for him, or actually gets a nice pop for him. Wouldn't mind either one. I think all eyes in the wrestling world will be on SmackDown tonight. As it should be. Vincent Kennedy McMahon returns, and when he returns, all eyes will be on there. When we left SmackDown, there was still the suspension of Shane O'Mac. Kevin Owens, how does he play into it? We're going to find out. All arrows are pointing toward Hell in a Cell. And not just Hell in a Cell, but the actual structure. I believe Kevin Owens and Shane O'Mac will face off. This is not a great mystery. This is something that everybody, of course, knew this was going to happen. How did they get there? Now, at the time when this started, there was 40 days until Hell in a Cell. Now we have less than a month. The one match we know for sure is Jinder versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And that's going to be in a Hell in a Cell. It is too early for me to announce, so I'm going to just talk to you guys, and you can join the conversation, please, at 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. Call or text, and of course, follow us at Live Morning Show. I think this is the time where Jinder drops. I also think this is the time Brock drops. I think both titles in these 2 respective pay-per-views will drop. More so Jinder than Shinsuke. I think it's time. And I tell you what began, and I've mentioned this has been the summer of surprises. Jinder Mahal Yes, many of us were a little bit disappointed with him becoming champion. At first, I kind of scratched my head too. But in reality, what has happened? We've either grown to really hate him or we've grown to stand him. I enjoy this entire taking a risk, the summer of surprises, the summer of shock and awe. The entire summer ultimately was dedicated between Jinder and Randy Orton. We kind of got a lot of fatigue from that. And sure, Shinsuke and Jinder have already squared off. But I think the time is right. It's Hell in a Cell. This is a pay-per-view people are going to be watching. This is October. After this, it's a build-up to Survivor Series. I think this is a time where Shinsuke is definitely going to probably go over. Now, the question is, I have, what next? What next for Shinsuke if he does go over? What next for Jinder? I can easily see Jinder getting lost in the shovel. Does Jinder stay in the main event status? Does he go to mid-card? I believe he goes to mid-card. But I also believe that right now the roster needs that little sizzle, and it's just not happening right now on SmackDown. They are waiting for someone like maybe Dolph Ziggler kind of step up to the plate. He's going through a new gimmick right now. Baron Corbin. I think his eyes are set, obviously, possibly against AJ Styles. Are they going to give him the strap? If Shinsuke goes over, this now opens up an opportunity for someone like Ziggler or Baron Corbin. Of course, fan favorites like KO, AJ Styles. I think Randy's going to take a break by all indications, as he should. Every time Randy takes a break, obviously he rests his body, he rests his mind. And that's a good thing. He comes back. We miss him when he takes his little leave. We still have Rusev in the picture, making it clear that, Jinder, we're not friends. And it's one of the funniest lines I heard from Rusev, who's deceptively funny. They were backstage, him and Jinder in a tag team. Tells Jinder, we're not friends. We're not going to do a ride-along. It was brilliant. It's 9:58 Eastern Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of show left, don't we? But I think what we're going to do right now is we're probably going to take a nice little commercial break. And our commercials are not very long. I'm very fortunate to actually have some sponsors. Yeah, that's true. Excited about the show tomorrow. Of course, we do this every Tuesday, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. We always live tweet during Raw and SmackDown, which will continue tonight. We'll be right back.
Live on Broadcast Row, it's the Wrestling Morning Show.
It is 10 o'clock Eastern on the dot. This is Mardel, your host of the Wrestling Morning Show. Hope your morning is going well. Don't forget, if you did not catch our show in its entirety, it's going to be available on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio. It's going to be available everywhere for you guys to listen to. That's what we do here. Take care of you guys. And we're on Twitter at Live Morning Show, as you guys know. That's how you kind of find the show. We stream live on Spreaker. We stream live from the website, thewrestlingmorningshow.com. But I tell you what, make it easy on yourself. Download the app. Download the app in iTunes and Google Play. You always have it. You get a push notification. You push play. You add it into the car play. You listen on the go. That's why we did the show. A morning show. A morning talk show about wrestling. Yeah. Now, I know a lot of wrestling fans, and there's people who go to work, and there's people who's probably just lounging around, and of course, there are the majority just sleeping. So I want to say good morning to everybody. I'm sure if you're in the East, you're probably up and about or sleeping in. If you're in the Midwest, you're getting ready or up and about. West Coast, you're just getting up. Maybe you're just getting in. Want to give a shout out to everybody in the UK. Now, right now in the UK, what do we got? About 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Yeah, about 4 o'clock, I believe. So maybe you're ending your day. Maybe you're winding down your work day. Maybe it's your day off. I don't know, but hopefully you're listening no matter what. Always listen. Always listen. You could call in as well. If you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. You can send a text. We still want to hear from you. And that number's 844-627-3352. What I want to do now, we can go back and let's, for some people who are just stumbling right now and listening to the program, let's go back and listen to a little recap. I tell you what, I think we are all ready. Way to go, Paulie, for selling that. That was awesome. I mentioned earlier that sometimes Paul might get stuck in the rut, as he's probably the very best, I think, ever to touch a microphone, regardless of any position in professional wrestling. It's Paul E. Heyman. He's a legend. And wow, he sold that, and I felt it. You have to rip the title away from Brock Lesnar. If you've never seen a visual of Paulie or Brock Lesnar, he sells it to you almost like you're listening to baseball or any sport on the radio. You physically can't see it because it is audio. And that's what he does. Creates that imagination, sells it, gives it detail. And that's why he's so good on that microphone. Regardless of any promo, just face-to-face, physically seeing it. Brock and Braun. It's been a while since I've been this excited about a pay-per-view. It's going to take place very soon, the 24th of September, Staples Center. All eyes will be on Los Angeles, Hollywood. And the card is relatively very solid and stacked. Neville, Enzo, Finn, Bray, Alexa, Sasha, Nia, Emma. It's a fatal four-way. Dean and Seth versus Cesaro and Sheamus. And, of course, the two big matches, Cena and Roman, Brock and Braun. The build-up for those two main event matches, yes, WrestleMania worthy. Yes, everyone is saying, why are they wasting this? They're not wasting it. Let's do it now. We could worry about WrestleMania later. Maybe they already have the direction they're going into for WrestleMania. Why not now? We have Lesnar and Cena both at 40 years old. Let's do it now. Let's not wait. What are we waiting for? Want to wait 2 more years for this? No. Let's do it now. And why not? And I think it's important they do it now for many reasons. One, they're in Los Angeles. Number two, we know Cena has some other endeavors he has to take care of. We know Brock, he's probably going to get some rest. More importantly, all eyes will be on this because it is in Los Angeles. All eyes will be on that Monday Night Raw after, when they're going up against Monday Night Football. This could also project the next couple months for WWE. Coming off a solid pay-per-view like this, depending on what direction it goes into. We have some unfinished answers, of course. Does Undertaker show face? More importantly, more realistic, Samoa Joe. You know we're going to see Samoa Joe in some way, shape, or form at No Mercy, as he is recuperating from an injury. The Ambrose-Seth Rollins saga, how does that unravel? Are they just going to be best friends? Everything is peachy keen? We don't know. I think it's a fascinating story, this fatal four-way. More importantly, the elements of Alexa and Nia. And let's not count out this Emma, the evolution of Emma. And for over a year, give Emma a chance. Give her an opportunity. As we think Nia could go over, as we think Alexa could retain, as the fan favorite Sasha could possibly win. So I count out Emma. I think this will be the second of 3 between Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. Finn Balor, the man, not the demon. No makeup. And of course, we got Neville and Enzo. All this really is going to do is make Enzo look really good. Regardless of any outcome, it's going to make Enzo look really good. And I'm excited about that. Now, we have 6 matches on the card. You expect a 7th. Of course, we all expect a 7th. And still, the one thing that drives me nuts, and we mentioned this earlier in the show, the Intercontinental Champion, one of the best performers going today, has no one he's going to face. And that is a shame. Maybe we have somebody online that could shed some light on everything we've talked about today. It's time once again.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
Good morning to you, Mr. Coder, and welcome to the Wrestling Morning Show.
What's up, Mardel? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for calling in. Let's jump right into it. Hope you had a nice weekend and it was very busy for you. But last night, I tell you what, Monday Night Raw delivered. It delivered big. Cena versus Roman, part 3. I believe Cena has won all 3 times. Give me your thoughts about Cena Roman 3 last night as they did promo work inside that ring.
Well, I didn't think it was as strong as the past couple of weeks, but of course it's good to see them with the back and forth. Always, they had some good lines that came out. I think Cena might have taken this one yet again. It looks like in the war of words anyway, although Reigns did a little bit better last night to hold his own. But this is just becoming a classic week to week. These guys just going back and forth with the war of words certainly made it interesting. We got to see a great match, I thought, out of Jason Jordan and Reigns. Good for him. Second week in a row where he's really shined on Raw. And I really like how they booked him recently against both of these two and sort of involved him in their feud. That's certainly the best way to elevate him moving forward. And, overall, I thought it was a good start and a good continuation of their rivalry leading up to No Mercy.
Well, a couple things that you just touched upon. One, Jason Jordan is taking the back seat, but no one's mentioned how awesome he's been these last 2 matches going up against 2 of the biggest superstars, at least on Monday Night Raw. He's looked great. He has looked great. And really, the crowd, there really is no boos. There's no yas. It's just kind of Obviously, it was kind of quiet during Cena. They were more into Jason Jordan because they hated Roman Reigns last night. But he's been very good. We knew he could wrestle. The only problem I've ever had with him really is he needs work on his gimmick, his promo work, his personality, which is fine, and that comes into time. He's still very young. He's got to go through some trials and tribulations. One thing I love about the Roman and John Cena feud, they have not touched each other. Not once. They have not touched each other. It's been a war of words. So when they collide in less than 2 weeks at No Mercy, I mean, we went in to No Mercy, and the only thing we talked about was unbelievable Brock and Braun. I cannot believe this is happening. This is a dream matchup. And everybody was saying they should have waited to WrestleMania. I'm like, let's do it now. And now all of a sudden, getting overshadowed is this unbelievable build, this unbelievable matchup between Cena and Roman. I do believe, and we're not making a prediction, at least I'm not, I think they're going to, they're going to go to blows. They're going to fight. And it's either going to be a disqualification or there's going to be no winner, because I do believe somebody will enter, and that somebody could be Samoa Joe. But we could talk about that next week on our go-home show. Let's talk about the build-up between Brock and Braun. Paul Lee did an unbelievable job last night, building this up, selling this match, giving it a big fight feel, as really he didn't need to, but just added more elements. And then Brock physically looking up against Braun and Braun manhandling him. Give me your thoughts, Brock and Braun, as now possibly this is the last time they see each other. We don't know about Brock's situation next week on the go-home show. Give me your thoughts about this match. Give me your thoughts about the build. What do you like? What don't you like?
Well, man, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. He went out and manhandled Lesnar last night. I definitely did not expect to see that. I expected them to go toe-to-toe and somebody, gets broken up or, one of them walks away from it. But I certainly didn't expect him to be standing over Brock with his foot on his chest and the championship in his hand after Heyman had just hyped up the fact that if you want this title, you've got to rip it out of his hand, and all this. And he did. He came out, ripped it out of his hand, put his foot on his chest and stood over him. I mean, that is just a visual you don't really ever see. I can't remember a time when I've seen somebody standing over Brock like that. One of the things I thought was sort of interesting, and I don't know if Brock knew that was planned for him to be stood over like that, because when he was laying on the ground, he kept trying to push Braun's foot off of him.
I noticed that, yeah.
Dude, this isn't cool. Like, this isn't part of the plan. Get your, you're burying me right now by doing this. And so I don't know if that was actually planned action or if it was just Braun, improvising there at the end, but it certainly looked like Lesnar wasn't having it. I was very surprised to see that's where they went with it. It certainly looks like this is going to be a win for Lesnar coming up in a couple weeks. Now, it's hard to say what might happen next week, but usually you don't see the champ buried like that and then expect to see a victory the following week, from the same guy who just stood over him. So I would expect to see Braun going over if this is the continued story going in. Obviously, we'll see what happens next week. But if he's not there, the last visual we have is Braun standing over him like that. And I would totally expect Lesnar to retain if that's the case.
Well, no, I'm not making my prediction yet, but I do believe the reason that Braun did not lose at SummerSlam was to get to this point. Get to this point one-on-one in Los Angeles, in the City of Lights, where eyes will be watching, and then all of a sudden it's Braun. And Braun goes over, as it should be. Okay, one thing that's driving me nuts, and I talked about this right before you entered, and that is The Miz. First of all, unbelievable job between The Miz and Enzo last night. Then I'm thinking to myself, is this going to happen again? Is this going to be back-to-back pay-per-views where The Miz does not defend his title? I mean, already Enzo is slated to wrestle Neville. That's booked for the Cruiserweight title. Now, the Hardy Boys technically don't have a match. Are they going to just rush this next week and maybe Jeff has a rematch and this is going to take place at No Mercy? Are the Miz Taraj going to fight three other men? I'm a little disappointed. Now, granted, Miz has been on television every single week. He's cutting great promos. And just when we thought he was going to turn the corner and become this official, without a doubt, main event status type of wrestler, which he has every talent, every ability to do. And it hit me last night. Wait a minute. What's going on here? What are they going to do? Try to force a build? Give me your thoughts. We're both Miz fans. We thought this was going to be the year of the Miz. I'm not giving up on that aspect. Now, obviously, our year is WrestleMania to WrestleMania. So we still have a lot of time left. But you can't be happy with this situation with The Miz, even though he's performing on the microphone at a very high level. Also, congrats to Mike Mizanin and Maurice as they announced they're having their first child together. Give me your thoughts about The Miz, the IC situation, and what's going to go on with less than 2 weeks before No Mercy, and The Miz has no match.
Well, I'm 100% with you here. We have to have an IC match. This should be 2 pay-per-views in a row where we really haven't seen that. He's traditionally been a fighting champion. I'm not really sure what's going on. I think we've been misled with The Miz over the past month or so. I really thought we were going to see a feud with him and Jason Jordan. Obviously, they changed plans with him, and we've seen him against both Cena and Reigns recently. It doesn't mean that couldn't happen. I could see a situation next week where, Kurt Angle says, hey, you've been looked great the last couple weeks, and gives him a shot at the IC championship or something like that. I don't know who else is out there for The Miz to really, it could be somebody like maybe Elias, who looked good as well last night in the ring. But I don't know who's really lined up, and it would certainly be a thrown together feud at this point because, we haven't seen a build with any sort of match with The Miz, which has been disappointing. Of course, he's still been great. He was awesome last night. His promo on, Enzo was super real. and that's always good. And, Enzo held his own for the most part. You're in with, one of the best guys on the microphone. And I thought Enzo did pretty well by the end of it, but he certainly got ran down by The Miz. I don't know, man. I would be very disappointed not to see an IC title match. I think that's, not only that, we're in LA. He's a Hollywood lives in Hollywood. He's a Hollywood star. It's his whole character. It only makes sense for him to have a match there. So I got to believe that there's going to be something thrown together here. I would love it if it was Jason Jordan. I think it'd be a great continuation of, what he's been doing recently. He's looked great, and, it certainly looked like it was headed that way just a few weeks ago with The Miz. So I'd love if that came back around and we somehow got him in an IC title match.
As much as we talk about Enzo getting stale and we got Enzo fatigue, it's amazing when Enzo goes toe-to-toe with somebody who could talk on the microphone like The Miz. It was one of Enzo's better promos. The Miz is now at a level where he's just so consistent all the time. Not only that, let's bring back the conversation with Cena and Roman. Roman, when he goes toe-to-toe with somebody who could handle himself like John Cena, I think he got thrown off course that very first time inside the ring where Cena kind of just demolished him. He's gotten better the second, third time around. So when you go against somebody who could hold their own, who could guide you, who could elevate your talents, and that's exactly what happened last night with Enzo. And for the first time in a long time, I'm like, okay, I don't mind hearing Enzo on the microphone because he's going back and forth with someone who's so good like Mike Mizanin. Switching topics, ladies and gentlemen, right now you are listening to the Wrestling Morning Show. The number is 844-627-3352. Follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. This is our Code Break segment with Brent Coder. You can follow him at CodeRock874 on Twitter. Okay, let's talk about the female Fatal 4-Way. Now, just when we thought, okay, we're going to wait till No Mercy, next week it's Nia versus Alexa. There have been times in the history of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown where they'll have a title match and something will come awry right before the pay-per-view. Now, obviously, if titles change hands next week, doesn't really play in too well. It really doesn't affect the Fatal 4-Way at No Mercy. I'm a huge fan of Alexa. I'm a huge fan of Nia Jax. I think they need to continue on what they did a couple months ago where Nia and Alexa were feuding, and Alexa really was being cruel and mean and picking on Nia, which I loved because the bully gets the brunt of it later on. So, Fatal 4-Way, No Mercy. If I had a gun to my head right now, which I might, you guys don't know, you're just listening to me, I'm going Nia Jax in this Fatal 4-Way. I'm going to put that on wax right now. And I would not be surprised Nia even goes over next week. Is there any interest with you when it comes to this Fatal 4-Way? And by the way, even though I'm just going now and making my prediction with Nia, if I'm wrong, I think it could be Emma. So give me your thoughts about this. Are they doing a good build? Because Sasha's in the back seat of this whole entire thing, which is fine. I'm in Sasha fatigue right now. Give me your thoughts. Break down the Fatal 4-Way leading up to No Mercy.
Well, I'm kind of with Alexa where she was. I'd rather see her against Nia one-on-one straight up than this Fatal 4-Way.
True.
I'm not sure somebody like has even earned it. Certainly Sasha deserves, a rematch. But, these matches, they can go, first of all, Alexa doesn't even have to lose, and she reminded us of that. It could be Sasha pinning Emma for the championship. It just so many variables here can happen in these types of matches. And it's likely that if Alexa loses the title, she won't be the one on her back in the middle of the ring when that goes down. She won't be the one pinned. It'll be somebody else. I think the rivalry between Alexa and Nia is definitely going to happen at some point one-on-one. And so whether Nia picks up the championship at No Mercy and then we see that rivalry, or it goes down next week. It's certainly, I think, the most interesting matchup in the women's division right now. And certainly really the only true storyline going on. So I'm looking forward to the match. It's one of those anything can happen, and I kind of like those matches. I don't, a lot of times, leading into a pay-per-view, a lot of it's predictable, but certainly don't know what's coming here. I mean, could Emma win it? I don't think that's likely, but it certainly could happen in this type of a match. That would really go to elevate her and create some new storylines within the division, which I think is needed at this point.
Well, whatever takes place at No Mercy, they have to know this. They've been doing this for decades now, where all eyes will be on No Mercy. All eyes, more importantly, will be on that Monday after No Mercy, where that could set the tone. That could help or hurt the Monday Night Football rivalry that they've had for years. Now, granted, they've been lucky last year. There were some horrible rivalries because everything was planned out. So it's already talking about the football schedule, where now, if there are a couple titles that have changed hands, what direction are they going to go in? If we assume Braun wins, for example, we know Cena's going to take some time off. What happens with Dean and Seth? What happens with the females? We also got the addition of Samoa Joe. Asuka, who's still hurt, she'll be joining the program, which was announced last night, which is great for Raw. So, it depends on what direction they go into, but I think No Mercy has to be the most important pay-per-view of the year as it sets the tone for fall. We're going to move on to SmackDown real quick. Tonight, are you excited about Vince McMahon coming to SmackDown? Also, I think we'll announce and we'll have everybody listening, anticipating Kevin Owens and Shane O'Mac, probably in Hell in a Cell. Give me your thoughts about Vince McMahon tonight. Are you excited? Because I am. This is probably one of the more exciting things to occur in a while.
Well, yeah, certainly business picks up when Vince shows up. So something's going to go down tonight. Like I said last week, what I would love to see is Owens show up with his lawyers in a suit, meet Vince in the ring, and threaten to sue WWE, his whole family, the show, and everything. And, Vince have to cut some sort of a deal where he lets Kevin Owens take over the show for the next 3-4 weeks leading up into the pay-per-view as Owens has been threatening. That would be great to see, certainly entertaining, and, just an awesome angle, I think, that would be great for the show and fun. I don't know if that's what we're going to see. Obviously, something will go down when Vince shows up. So I'm very interested to see, where things head after tonight.
Well, what's exciting is we're going to have Kevin Owens and Vince McMahon. And to my knowledge, maybe the first time they've been together in a ring. And it's almost certain it's going to happen tonight. I hope I'm not wrong in that. But I mean, it's not like Kevin Owens has been around a while. Only real big figures he's ever dealt with, obviously, is Triple H and Stephanie. So it's going to be exciting to have one of the very best in the game, Kevin Owens, going against Vince McMahon. I've been excited for at least the entire week, just thinking about this moment. And of course, when Vince shows up, it's always very special. So, and not to mention, we got less than 30 days in Hell in a Cell. And the only match that is booked is Jinder versus Nakamura in a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. I'm not making a prediction, but if I had to right now, this is for the same reason I think Braun's going to win. Shinsuke's probably going to go over, in my opinion. I only worry about Jinder. They spent a lot of time, a lot of money with Jinder, well over 100 days as the champion. He will just presumably be knocked down to mid-card status, which mid-card status is a lot better than when he started. I mean, he was a jobber, enhancement guy. Okay, let's, last night, obviously, the Twitter felt the effects of Monday Night Football, which is fine. It was the opening week, 2 matches in a row. Coder, I want to go through right now some of the Twitter poll questions that I had from last night. The first question I asked was, summer's officially over, fall is here. The summer in the WWE, shall we say, was interesting. Who or what was the best part of the summer? These were your 4 options. Braun Strowman, Jinder Mahal, Alexa Bliss, or the Fashion Files?
I miss the Fashion Files, man. We haven't seen them in a few weeks, but they were certainly definitely a highlight. All of them were highlights. Alexa was great. I think Braun has really owned the summer. He's been in some epic matches with Reigns throughout the summer, and currently in his feud with Brock. I think he has just, maybe the greatest single push in wrestling history.
Wow.
He's just been. Yeah, look at him last night. His foot on Brock Lesnar's chest in the middle of the ring holding the title over him. You just don't see that from young talent. It takes years and years. You never even saw that with, somebody of the Undertaker's level over a guy like Brock Lesnar. You just don't see that. So, yeah, for a young guy, you can see that they strongly, strongly believe and Braun Strowman being the future of the WWE as their monster heel. He's been established. He's been in awesome matches. And every opportunity that they've given Braun over the summer, he has shined. Every type of match, every feud, and he's been in them all. He's been in ambulance matches and 5-ways and 4-ways and, street fights. It hasn't mattered. And for a young guy to get those opportunities and shine, I would say that he's been exceptional. Now, Alexa is still my rookie of the year as far as the women's division and her on that microphone, and as an all-around performer, she's very strong. But Braun, I'm going to have to go with being the highlight of this summer.
I would agree with you. I think all four obviously have their moments, but yeah, we haven't seen anything like Braun in a while. And 52% said Braun Strowman. Second with 19% is Alexa Bliss. So, yeah, I think it's a consensus. You bring up a great question. It would make an unbelievable Twitter question as well. Is this the greatest push and build of all time? Braun Strowman. So, I'm going to have to borrow that and probably post that, if not tonight, maybe next week. Okay, so let's move right along. My next question is not who will, but who do you want to see walk out of No Mercy as Universal Champion? Not who will, but who do you want to see walk out of No Mercy as Universal Champion? Braun, Brock, or still undecided?
I think Braun, for all the reasons I just outlined, I think he deserves it. With this mega push he's gotten over this summer, he's really shined in every type of match. And, I think it's time to have a consistent champion, throughout the NFL season that we have coming up, as you pointed out earlier. I think it's the right move for the company. I think it's a good move for his character. And, Braun's held it for throughout the summer, so it's time to switch it up, and I'd love to see Braun win the title here.
60% Braun, 24% Brock, 16% still undecided. For those 16%, what are you waiting for? Okay, next question. SmackDown Live card is loaded. We can't wait. Titles on the line tonight, of course. Special appearances. What are you most excited to watch on SmackDown Live? Naomi versus Natty, Usos versus New Day, AJ versus Ty Dillinger, all three for the title, or Vince McMahon on SmackDown Live?
I mean, Vince all the way, man. I'm a KO guy, huge KO fan, so very involved with any storyline he's got going on, and this is certainly a big one. So that's without a doubt. Whenever the chairman of the board shows up, that's going to be the highlight tonight.
50% Vince McMahon on SmackDown Live. Second is AJ versus Ty. Pinned Twitter poll question. Love all four women in the No Mercy Fatal 4-Way. Wouldn't mind a fresh champion, though. Not who you think, but who would you want to win? Not who you think's going to win, but who would you like to see win? Alexa, Emma, Nia, or Sasha? This one is pretty much split down the middle for the most part. Go ahead.
Well, I'd love to see Nia get it. I think she's deserving of it. She's certainly put in her time. And, to establish her as a champion moving forward in that division, I think is important, for the rest of the girls and for that division. Only elevates them in a match, against her. So I would love to see that. I think Alexa's done a fine job, and if she held on to it, I would not be disappointed here. It just kind of did a little bit of back and forth, so I hope we don't see much more of that kind of stuff, because I don't really, I don't agree with putting the title on them for one day or 1 week and then it going back. It just gets a little hokey. So, I'd love to see Nia win it and then, continue on for the next couple months actually holding the title. But if not, I'd be fine with Alexa here too.
Well, if you're listening to the program, you could still vote. 28% Alexa, 28% Sasha, 25% Nia, 19% Emma. Pretty close. Sometimes we forget how big of a fan base Sasha has, how big of a fan base, of course, Bayley has. And speaking of the females, we're hoping that Charlotte, who's been backstage, hoping to see her return at some point very soon. So that should be interesting. I want to see how this plays out in Hell in a Cell when it comes to the female division on SmackDown. And of course, Carmella really getting some good opportunities right now. And we're kind of enjoying the evolution of her character. But let me ask you a question. Coder, tomorrow morning, what's the one thing we're going to be talking about that came from SmackDown Live tonight?
We're going to be talking about Vince. We're going to be talking about Vince and Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. Potentially, hopefully, they'll set the match tomorrow night for a Hell in a Cell. What I'd love to be talking about is Kevin Owens taking over SmackDown and making it the Kevin Owens show for the next month. I really hope that's what we're talking about. It'd be a lot of fun. I'll certainly be turning in week to week for that. So that's what I'd love to see, and I think that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be talking about the AJ match, or I don't think we're going to see title changes tonight in any of the other matches. I think it's going to be all about Vince and KO tomorrow.
As it should be, as they're trying to build for Hell in the Cell. They'll definitely take the gender Shinsuke will probably take a back seat. I'm also curious, first of all, Fashion Files to return. More importantly, I think this is how many millions of people are on Twitter. I don't even know the number. You may know the number. I might have been the only person that got excited about Dolph Ziggler last week. So I'm curious what's going to go on with that. His name is Coder. This is the Code Break. Follow Brent Coder on Twitter at CodeRock874. I appreciate your time, Coder. Thank you for being on the program this morning.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow, man.
All right, take care. Thank you.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
Always great having Coder on the program. He's a very busy man. Follow Coder at CodeRock874 or CodeRockStreetwear.com. Okay, well, we're all excited. We're all excited about what's going on, and the reality of it is, it's going to be pretty good. SmackDown tonight with Vince McMahon. I thought Raw was a pretty decent. It was a great build. More than decent. I don't know why I just said decent. Better than decent. It was solid. We were going in talking about two matches. The build for those two matches delivered. 844-627-3352. Don't forget, we do this again tomorrow morning. We're going to be recapping SmackDown. Talking a little Raw. Talking about No Mercy. Talking about Hell in a Cell. Talking about whatever you want to talk about. This is your destination for wrestling talk in the morning. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. Of course, follow us on Twitter. Live Morning Show. That's the handle. Live Morning Show. We're on Facebook where you can stream live the Wrestling Morning Show. Website is thewrestlingmorningshow.com. The show is going to go off the air in about 5 minutes. You can find us in podcast form on demand in iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. One thing I want to just play an audio from, and it's from last night, and I thought he did a pretty good job with this. This is Bray Wyatt. Let's go ahead and take a listen, refreshing your memory from last night. Directing his attention to Goldust, but also it's layered with a message to Finn Balor.
I think you're just afraid. Afraid to take off that paint and show the world the man that lives underneath it. A man so deeply ridden with the scars of your darkest fears and insecurities that you wish the paint would dry for good. You're just like Finn Balor. Your paint is nothing more than your power. It is your weapon to protect you from the truth. Because without it, you're just mortal men. And as for you, gold dust. Right now, all you can do is run.
All right, the paint is your power. That's what Bray Wyatt is saying. And what comes up later on Raw, which I thought was fascinating, something different. Bray has actually went into the ring with Goldust and it just took a rag and wiped off all the makeup off of Goldust, almost saying symbolically it was the same as Finn Balor coming out. Now, we know there's going to be a rematch between these two, but it's going to be the man Finn Balor. The man Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, not the demon. We didn't see the Demon for months, and all of a sudden he showed up, which wasn't bad. So it's going to be Finn versus Bray Wyatt, and that's going to take place at No Mercy. Huge fan bases for both. And we continue with the same theme online with Bray Wyatt. He's getting wasted. He's getting wasted. Well, yeah, he is. You know, and some people will say his peak was when he had the entire Wyatt family, but there was time for people to break up. That's fine. It happens in every faction, every clique, every stable. And Bray was the leader of that, and obviously the most talented. And now we see Braun, who was a member of that for a short time. Finn Balor has a huge fan base, as you know, so does Bray Wyatt. So why not? We're going to enjoy this. This is going to be match number 2, and of course, without a doubt, we know there's going to be match number 3, and most likely we'll see the Demon. Well, Raw was Raw. Now we draw our attention, of course, to SmackDown tonight. Vince McMahon will be on there. There's going to be a lot of matches lined up. A lot of titles will be on the line. We got the Usos versus the New Day. Some of their best work is when they are attacking each other on that microphone, shooting promos. AJ versus Ty Dillinger. Hopefully this match will go a while and people will start to realize that Ty is very talented. And of course, we got Naomi versus Natty. It's been a while since we've seen Naomi kind of really visible since she lost her title. Carmella will always be a factor when it comes to that, as she continues to have the Money in the Bank briefcase. But of course, all eyes will be on tonight. Vince McMahon comes back to SmackDown. It's been a very long time. He'll probably go head-to-head on the microphone in the ring against Kevin Owens. And we'll find out what's the situation with Shane, find out about the suspension, see what Daniel Bryan's thoughts are. That's all going to be happening tonight. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow morning on the Wrestling Morning Show. We'll be here at 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, of course, you could catch the show after we go off on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. I want to thank everybody for listening to the program today. I want to thank Brett Coder for calling in for the code break. Appreciate that. Tomorrow we'll also get you up to speed with some of the Cruiserweight and 205 situations. Also the Mae Young Classic. We'll get you up to speed with that. Join us tomorrow morning, everybody. Thank you for listening. Be good.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel. Live on Broadcast Row.